Hi there. Okay, so just wanted to say some words about the energies that are happening for us all at the moment. The sun has gone into Pisces, and Pisces is the 12th house of the zodiac, where it's the 12th sign and it corresponds with the 12th house. Now, the 12th house is like it's like a psychic repository of everything that we hold that we may or may not be aware of. So what I'm trying to say is that everything that gets repressed, everything that is shadow material, i.e. subconscious, unconscious, that's held in the kind of Pisces energy. Now, we all have stuff that is around our energetic body, our etheric field, and held within us, stored within the cells of our bodies, that represents things that we may or may not be aware of. Now, bringing those things into awareness, there are various mechanisms for doing that. I personally believe, and through the past 5 years of my awakening and how it's arisen, I have been guided at all times by my spirit guides to, in the main, just use my own abilities to bring things through from dreams. So dreams is another Pisces area of life. To journal those out. So you don't just have a dream and then go, hey, I had a weird dream, and don't do anything with it, because if that dream had emotions with it, that needs bringing into, or it may need bringing into, conscious reality, because it may have meaning for now. Okay. There are other ways that you may be receiving that Pisces type subconscious energy. That may come through visions, waking visions, or visions that you have in meditation. It may be like what happened to me last week when I saw a leopard walk into my open heart space. And then I looked up the meaning of the leopard. I knew it was significant, and it felt good. It felt like that leopard was here to teach me something. And when I looked up the meanings of what that leopard was bringing in for me, that felt really in line with the other information that I'm receiving and what's going on for me in my journey now. Now, we all have these different skills and abilities and our different tools and our preferred tools. It's my own belief that we each come with our unique gifts, our unique psychic gifts, or ways of interpreting information, because that's what it is, it's information. We might receive something through a symbol. We might receive something whilst we're asleep, whilst we're in meditation. It might just be a dawning realization that comes to us when we're out walking in nature one day. It could come in a variety of ways. But testing out what that means, rather than just whirling round in almost like, if you imagine like a whirlpool and going like down to the bottom of that, you could like almost spiral, spiraling downwards, or a sinking feeling. That's a really common interpretation of how I see the Neptune and Pisces energy when things go wrong. So a masking of the true emotions. I'm deliberately in Wonder Woman top today because I've had a really difficult couple of days. All of this material that comes up, it's much more likely to be coming up at this time. What I would like to say is, if you get information and material coming in at the moment, if that feels in your deepest hearts aligned with a message that needs to be passed on for the highest good of you and everyone around you, then by all means feel free to pass it on. There are gentle ways to do that, such as, I'll just use an example of a lady from this group. In fact, I'll use 2 examples. 3. God, I've had so many this week. And I thank you all for being true to yourselves, the people who have come in with various messages. And the way it happens will be something like this. Somebody will message me and say, I've just had a really strong dream about a black cat. And I go, wow, isn't that funny that she said that to me? Because the last thing that I looked at before I went to bed was a black cat. And that has meaning for me. And I was looking up the symbolism of that. And then my friend has seen that in her dream. So then we gently explore what the meaning of that could be. Okay? So that's bringing to the fore something where we then say, that's interesting, because that shows we have some variety of psychic connection with each other, which we've, both felt into a little bit before, and we gently, over time, begin to explore that and explore what that means. Another lady, she popped into my mind while I was washing up, and I've had this before with somebody who I feel just connected with, or perhaps I've read their chart, perhaps I've connected with their energy in some way, and I feel aligned with that person. Here's somebody who's been on one of my courses, so I looked at her chart. She popped into my mind really strongly while I was washing up, and I thought, do I need to tell this person she was in my mind while I was washing up? Is there a reason? So I sat with it for a little bit, and I thought, do you know what? There's no problem with just saying, truthfully, you popped into my mind while I was washing up. And she said, well, it's funny you should say that, because actually, just at this point in this morning, I had a massive download of information, and here it is. And she sent it to me, and it was absolutely aligned with messages that I receive. And if I felt it was very beautiful, to the point where I've asked her if it's okay if I can publish this on my blog. Okay? So again, this is remote, distant, we're not physically in the same location. These are people who are psychically connected, and we are exploring and using our intuitive gifts and deep feminine knowing. Without being in the same place, we are having aligned thoughts from spirit that connect us with each other. Okay? So what started off for me as a spiritual journey where I wasn't telling anybody, it was all between me, my guides, my diary, all of it. 80,000 words of my awakening. 80,000, still not published. But it just sits there, because then we moved into another phase, which is gathering people. Okay, I don't intend to not live in this real world. I am here in nature now, in this world now, with people who I like and love now. All of us have chosen to incarnate at this time together and bring back our gifts. And when we gently and sensitively and empathically and compassionately explore that with each other, that feels right with what we're meant to be doing. I feel good with that, okay? And I gently, carefully weigh that in my heart, and I think that feels right in the deepest sense. All the way through every chakra, that goes, that feels right, okay? Now, the reason I'm talking about Pisces here and unconscious material, shadow material, repressed, when we can't handle something, it gets repressed, shut down, buried. I have done it deliberately with the Bronte family when I was 22. I shut them out. What I experienced was too much for me to cope with and embody at that time. So I shut them out. But I did it putting that in my memory. So it was like I was having a dialogue with them, God, me, my energy, my higher self, my spirit guides. I didn't know what was around me. I could feel it all, and I had no framework, no language, no understanding, no tools, no mechanism for it. And that scared me, because having deeply psychic awareness and ability, living in a world that does not recognize that, is scary. It makes you feel like there's something wrong with you, like you're an outcast, like there's something not quite right about you. And that could bring bullying and social anxiety and fear of the self, fear of others, mistrust. Okay? And I look back at 22-year-old Rachel and I think she did the exact right thing. I totally think she did the right thing. By burying that, it was a survival mechanism. By choosing to either be self-employed or be a teacher or go down a business route, I have great business skills. Why not go down a business route? That makes sense. I love business. Just so happens that I'm incredibly psychic as well. But, you know, it's an and conscious. It's not like I choose one or the other. I can do it all. That's okay. However, this Pisces stuff, the repressed, unconscious material, when it's repressed and it comes up, when shadow comes up, it can be really hard work. It can be really, really tough to bring that into conscious awareness. And you need time to process it. And we all process in a different way. We might lie on the couch for an hour just breathing. Yeah, literally, just do that. Might be 2 hours, might be a day. We might express it through colour. We might get the paint set out and express that as a picture. It might even be a messy picture. It could be anything. It could be abstract, could be real. I mean, look like something real. It might be that we write it out. A lot of my journaling sounds like it's really fancy, doesn't it? Like it's purposeful and has structure. No, quite a lot of my this has just come up reveals itself in poetry form. I don't mean the kind of poetry that you assess and dissect and pick apart and has iambic parameter and all that, whatever it is. No, I mean it comes out in word form, but it spills onto the page as though, oh, that felt really good to clear that out in word form. So it's like a rhythmic, lyrical, there's like a bounce that always happens when I'm getting something out. There's like a bounce to it. almost like a sing-songy thing. Tends to rhyme as well. It's just like how emotions flow out in rhyme, I don't know, but I'm better at finding rhyme when I'm in a somewhat depressive state, or at that point of bringing up emotions that are I don't even want to say dark, more deeply truthful. Quite a lot of the time when people bring up these emotions, if they don't sit with it, write it out, yell it out, go yell it out into the grass, go scream it to the sand, go stand in the sea with your wellies on, imagining, visualizing the waves washing over you. That's engaging with nature, and Mother Nature knows exactly what to do with all these emotions. But if you don't take time to ground that, what happens is people can quite often project that shit onto other people, just flinging. It's like flinging shit, and it's coming up and it's like vomiting out onto someone else. This is what's been happening for the past couple of days, and experiencing that, it feels like a psychic attack actually, until you go, whoa, this is projection. This is somebody else's unconscious material. It's come from someone else's dream, and it's been projected onto, in this case, the Bronte family. And I consider it to be like a psychic attack, really, because that's how I felt it. And it was very dark, very deeply disturbing material that had come through a woman's dream state, and that she interpreted with absolutely no evidence, without weighing it up against anything else. She flung it at the Bronte family. So because I have a soul family, because I had a soul family relationship with them, because I have taken on a karmic soul contract with them now to bring this forward in this life, so that I can teach about spirituality in a very just, down to earth, say it like it is kind of way. Because I have that pre-existing past life connection with them, and I have a connection in spirit with them now, that was perceived by me on deep levels all over my body as an attack, like emotional and psychological and psychic abuse. And here and now is not the place to go into what the nature of the bullshit revelations were, but suffice to say, that is something that you may have to watch out for at this time. Somebody else bringing up material from their subconscious, or in this case, this person feels that she's seeing spirits and channeling. Well, okay, but like I've said before, there's a whole world of shit out there, so you've got to be really careful who you're channeling. She sent me an email last night that was basically an entire list of projection. Everything that she's done, she just shoved it onto me. I was looking at it going, well, it's a really good job that I fully understand the nature of projection, because every one of her behaviours that she cannot own got shoved onto me. The reason I'm saying this and coming clean about it is just be really aware. People will do this, and they might be bringing information from past lives, because that's held in the subconscious as well. This life, stuff that might have been repressed from any point, any age, any scenario during this life. People are always talking about childhood wounds, Okay, a lot of people might have childhood wounds, but you know, you can have wounds from when you were 23 and a half. You can have wounds from when you were 32. Let's just be honest about it. Life happens, and you can encounter bad events at any time that cause huge emotional difficulty and that have a big emotional impact on the soul and whole energy field and whole body. And because there is no separation between, when you're functioning in alignment, there is no separation between heart, soul, mind, body, everything that's in your aura and energetic field. When you're functioning completely truthfully and authentically, and your chakras are, you know, your energy is spinning properly. I don't see energy as spinning, and I don't see energy as colours. I sense it in different ways, and I get pictures, and I get words, and I get people, and I get messages, and I get information about past lives. But some people will see colours. Some people are hearing things. You know, we all have our way of interpreting information, but it's all there. It's all the same thing. It's all within us. So when something lands as a, whoa, that's really not right, you know, this is somebody else's stuff, then you've got to have your boundaries there to be able to go, actually, this belongs to you, not me. Now, me working with the Bronte family is a big deal because there's a lot of other people's unhealed traumas that have been levelled at the Brontes erroneously for many, many years, because people erroneously think that your energy disappears when you die, and it doesn't. The most important part of you, the soul and entire energy field, exists when we lay down our physical body. And I do feel that most people who are Bronte fans get this, but it's not being brought out fully and enough. So all of the abusers who cannot own their own self, cannot own their own soul, cannot own their own journey, they are unconsciously lumping it on the Brontes, and that's where we get myths. And people think, well, it's all right, Brontes are dead, so they're fair game. No. Many of us have reincarnated multiple times since then. Many of us are reincarnated now. And I am right here at the forefront of it with a big fat line of, you would not believe the amount of spirit protection protecting the entire family. And it's me who's going to say it, but it's not just me. And you can choose to believe me or not. There's plenty that will come out. But I'm not one of these people who just turns up and goes, channel, bullshit channel. You know, I might hear a word at a time. I take time to weigh what's going on. Right? However, this volume of stuff that is coming up from other people's unhealed emotions, unhealed psyche, we don't want it. And for everybody, this ain't just a Bronte thing. This is like literally me speaking to your sovereign soul. Do everything you can to stay within your sovereign, protected soul energy. Know exactly who your chain of command is. Unity. Unity is, there's so much, this is a different video altogether, there's so much business theory and management theory and leadership theory that comes into spirit for me. But unity of command, unity of direction is one of the big ones, because it's, for me, because it stops you accepting the 5,100 million people who are talking shite and flinging their unhealed emotions at you. Just no. Just no. Don't accept it. So if somebody else's crap comes up at this time, you do not have to accept that. This would be a really good time to forge networks. Don't forget, we are totally in this Aquarian energy, this age of Aquarius energy. Really good time to forge networks with people you trust. I mean, deep down trust. And this is why I have created a group called Everyday Spirituality for people who are talking about this stuff in everyday, meaningful ways. I am one person. You are. But when we join together and we start to really understand each other's gifts and show up in support for each other and show solidarity rather than tearing each other down, that's where the meaningful building comes in. And we build networks where we trust each other and we know who to go to for this, that, or the other. We know which people have which skills. Okay? I hope that has been useful. I have just talked at you what is absolutely truthfully on my heart. I hope that somebody has taken something useful from that. That's all I ever wish. I will be recording some meditations about how to protect yourself at this time. Okay. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being in my groups. If this video is the first time you've encountered me, I'll pop below links to both of my groups. Okay. Thank you. Bye for now.